Another day in lockdown. How are we doing, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome to my channel if you are new. I'm Alex. How are we doing? I am a teacher. I do jiu-jitsu. I do all sorts of different things. And if this is the first time watching this video, please consider subscribing. And if nothing else, have a look on the channel. Have a look at some of the videos. While we're on lockdown, I'm trying to put out lots more content to keep you guys entertained, and if nothing else, to give you ideas of things that you can do to keep yourself occupied, to keep your mind switched on, to keep your body fit, whilst we are in sort of these bizarre, uncertain times. Yeah. Now, today's video, I have decided to kind of copy an idea from a video that I did for the kids that I teach. So, basically, I have made the decision that every day that I would have normally been in school teaching the kids in my class, I would put out a short video for them of an experiment or an activity or in a game that they can try and they can play at home to keep them entertained, to kind of keep them engaged in their schoolwork, and to see a familiar face, obviously that being me. And so I did a video yesterday that I sent out to them this morning of like a funky, fun little experiment that they could do that involved some chemicals, it involved some different ingredients, materials that they'd have around their house, and it's just a bit of fun really. And so I thought that you guys might be interested in doing this too. If you have children, this is quite a fun thing to do with them. If you don't, it's still quite cool. And yeah, so that's what today's video is about. Right, I'm going to stop talking now because I can hear my washing machine, and so can you, I expect. So, yeah. This video will resume as soon as the washing's done. I really didn't time this right today. Okay, I think we're good. Yep, let's turn that off before it goes off again. Okay, so for this experiment you're going to need a few set of materials. Firstly, you're going to need a baking tray. Like this. Then you're going to need some sand. If you don't have any sand, I found that compost or soil works well. Just make sure it's not damp or wet because it's not going to work. Like this. Next, you're going to need some form of lighter fluid or methylated spirits. Methylated spirits. Then you are going to need bicarbonate of soda and icing sugar. Bicarb, icing sugar. And then to finish this off, you're going to need a glass. Maybe two. Make sure one is dry and the other one will fill with some water. Water. I would suggest putting your baking tray on another metal rack so it doesn't burn whatever you're resting it on. You can also do it on the stove if you want. Place in the middle some of your sand. Like I said, I'm using compost, but I would suggest use sand, it's better. And then you're going to make a well in the middle. Then in your dry cup, you're going to mix 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda with 4 teaspoons of icing sugar. Give it a bit of a mix. Inside the middle of this well that you've created with your soil or your sand, you're going to put some methylated spirits or some lighter fluid. You don't need loads, but the more you put, the longer this is going to burn for. Into that reservoir, into that hole, you're going to pour your powdered mixture. Make sure that you scrape some of it out. And then you're good to go. So now you have your soil or your sand with the powder in the middle, and you should see a sort of a ring almost of your methylated spirits or your lighter fluid. You're then going to light the lighter fluid, and you're going to watch what happens. this thing indoors because it doesn't give off any smoke, as you can see. But it does smell a little bit because obviously the methylated spirits are burning. You do also get the smell of sort of burning sugar, which actually has quite a sweet smell to it, which is quite nice. So, but it's cool. It's a really cool little funky experiment to do. And the shapes that you get, like, it feels, it's really bizarre. Like, it's super delicate. And it's a bit like cotton candy or candy floss. And when you break it apart, you can see all of like the air bubbles within it. Now, what will happen, and this will last longer if you have a spoon or a stick and you like make sure that you move it slightly, is under the heat, the icing sugar and the bicarbonate of soda will kind of become quite solid and compact. So if you just move it slightly with a spoon to open up some of the mixture underneath, it will continue to burn, and this structure will continue to grow for longer. Ugh. Yeah. Okay guys, so essentially the way that this works is when you ignite the lighter fluid or the meths or whatever you're going to use to light it, bicarbonate of soda and the sugar, they react to the heat, right? And the bicarbonate of soda gives off CO2, it gives off water vapor, and those gases, when they are released, they force this to happen. To give you a bit of a perspective and to sort of make it a little bit more easy to understand, if you add baking powder into any of your baking, so when you bake a cake or muffins and you see them rise in the in the oven, within baking powder is bicarbonate of soda, and when that reacts with water it gives off CO2, which is obviously a gas, and that's what puts air bubbles inside your cakes and makes them rise and be all nice and fluffy. And that's essentially what's happening here. Now if you're careful and you take it off, you can see the air bubbles within these funky structures, and it is actually the carbon that gives it the colour that it has. That and the burnt sugar. Now you can see the structure to it. Like I say, it does feel a lot like sort of like cotton candy or candy floss. It's very delicate, and you can see that it just breaks away. It almost looks a bit like a beehive with the structure. And yeah, it's super delicate, but it's super funky, and as soon as it's cooled down you can start playing with this like I'm doing now. Now I am going to give you a safety tip. As soon as you've lit your methylated spirits, your lighter fluid, whatever it is that you're going to use to create the fire, don't keep pouring more on. It's very flammable, and I don't want you to blow yourself up. Right, that was a hard day's work. I fancy a cup of tea now. Yeah. Right. I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.